The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline. I'm your host, Nick Eatman, and it is time to talk Dallas Cowboys football. I want to hear from you guys. You know how this show works. This is a show where I turn the tables, let you guys call in and voice your opinion. Obviously, keeping it respectable, of course. But want to hear from you guys, especially with this week. Big week, Cowboys coming off a bye, and it's 49ers week. It's time to talk Dallas Cowboys. San Francisco 49ers, and the last few games obviously have not gone well for the Cowboys when facing the 49ers. Two of them losses in the playoffs. Of course, last year was a tough 42-10 loss in San Francisco. Cowboys going back to the Bay Area again, see if they can change history here against the 49ers, and also just the course of their season this year with a big loss they had a couple weeks ago against the Lions. Let's see what the bye week has done for them. Want to hear from you guys, as always. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. And let's get it right after. Let's go to Miami, where Fernando is. Fernando in Miami is first up here.
Good morning, Nick.
How are you?
Fine. Long time no talk.
All right.
Look, the reason I'm calling, I'm kind of going to go back to old school here. Did you ever see the Staubach's last game, playoff game against the Rams that they lost? I think Waddle, that receiver from the Rams, he caught the ball at the 15. He took it all the way in with like a minute to go. And Vince Ferragamo was the quarterback, I think.
I don't really. No. I mean, not really. I was like 3.
Yeah, I think it was in 79. That was Staubach's last game.
Right.
It was a playoff game against the Rams in Texas Stadium.
Where are we going with this?
Oh, no, just nothing. Just wondering if you saw that one or how you felt after that. But I got another question.
I probably... I probably wanted to play with some toys or something. I don't know. Like, I was 3, so I don't remember that one. I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about his 79 game against the Redskins, but then that was the last win. But yeah, they lost it in the playoffs. All right, what point are we making here? At all? Nothing.
No, I was just going to say that was very disappointing. A playoff game that was devastating for me. I'm 59, so that was tough for me. Okay, next question.
Okay.
Danny White. This one's going to be old school too. Danny White. The dude was a very good punter.
Uh-huh.
He took us to 3 NFC championship games. He was beating a great 49er team with Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, and all those guys with 4 minutes to go. The defense let the team down. I'm thinking, why don't this guy get more love, or maybe even in the Ring of Honor?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the old school shout outs here. See, this show we do a little bit of everything. We'll talk about current stuff. We'll take it back 40 years. Danny White. I've said this before. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so I was Danny White in my backyard, my front yard, in the living room, whatever. I was the quarterback. He was the guy. He was the quarterback. When you look at it now, I always say that, where the Cowboys were a certain level when he took over, they did not sustain that. They went down. They did go to the championship games. They didn't go past that. You can say what you want about the 49ers game with the catch and the defense. They were driving. He fumbled. I mean, he did. He fumbled, and they could have maybe won that game with the field goal. But Danny White was a really good player with some really good stats a few years. I don't know if he's Ring of Honor type. The Cowboys have always wanted to keep it pretty exclusive, and I don't think it goes to that level. That's all I have to say about that. All right, let's go to Champ in Nebraska. Champ, you got anything about this week's game?
Hey, Nick. First off, man, hearing you talk about Danny White, wow, that brings back some memories. I was the same way on the side of my grandma's house playing football with my cousins.
Yeah.
And that was my hero.
Yeah.
For this week, I think we got a great chance to beat this team. I know a win is a win in the NFL. You take it. You can't control who's hurt on the other team or anything. I don't know for the players, like, if it's like we didn't beat them at their best, so how that measuring stick would be up if we get that win. But one thing I wanted to throw back to you, I was listening to Micah's podcast about 3 weeks ago, and I was just listening to it last week, and there was a segment on there where it really, really sounded like he's throwing coaching staff under the bus, and I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't turned into a national media type news deal. He had Darius Slay on as a guest, and he was talking about how when are they going to stop blaming the players and start blaming the coaches for the schemes they put them in and putting them in bad positions. And he specifically talks about our fans. He says, if I here where I'm at, he goes, what the fans say, I want to tweet out, when are we going to start blaming the coaches and not just the players? He goes on to talk about how his words, and I don't want to paraphrase him exactly, but basically they put us in a BS spot, but they won't take credit for or blame for that. I was just wondering if you'd heard that, if I totally misunderstood it, or if you hadn't listened to that at all or anything like that. With that, I'll hang up.
Right.
You guys have a great week.
Thanks.
Go Cowboys.
Thank you. I didn't really hear that. I actually was flipping through the channels, and I saw that on TV. It's on like True TV, which I haven't turned to since the NCAA basketball tournament, but it was on, and I saw that interview. It took me about 10 minutes to realize it was Darius Slay, who that was, because they never said that. But Micah needs to reset that a little bit when he's the host. But I did not hear that part about the coaches, and I'll say this: it surprises me that anything that he says it hasn't, that they don't take that and blow that up. So maybe he did. Maybe that's what you heard. Maybe he was implying that. That doesn't surprise me. He's been, he's pretty frustrated about a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I had not heard that about him and the coaches and talking about that. So that first part you said though about will it matter if the Cowboys win, or will they feel the same way? Because don't forget what's happening here. See, that's the thing. Like, I think fans kind of forget, like, all right, well, this is the situation here. And then you're starting to look elsewhere and go, all right, well, what do the 49ers have? What do they have going on? Oh, this guy's hurt. This guy's hurt. Well, what about what's happening with this team? They don't have a defensive end that's healthy. That was on the roster even to start training camp, it seems like. They're banged up. I don't know if Micah Parsons is going to play. I don't know if Deron Bland is going to play. So, I don't really care what's going on with the 49ers. Deal with it. Nobody cares about what's happening with the Cowboys. Nobody says that. Nobody, no talk show, none of those things you see say, yeah, but these guys are out. No one says that. They just say, this was the score. This is embarrassing. What are you going to do about it, Jerry? Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. So that's fine. So if this is the case with 49ers, deal with it. Cowboys are trying to deal with it as well. And it's going to be a challenge. Whatever the 49ers roll out, it's going to be a tough game because the way they run the football, the way their offense is structured, it's going to be a problem. It doesn't matter who's running the ball, what kind of struggles they've had. It'll be a challenge. Sunday Night Football, it'll be a tough game. I can promise you that. It doesn't matter who's there. All right, Dylan, Northport, Florida. What's up, man?
Hey, Nick, you remember the role that Teddy Roosevelt played in saving football? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, it was great listening to you on the break last week with Derek, dude. You're like the ultimate implier, and it was great having kind of the Empire Strikes Back there. So Hope you guys do some more of that stuff.
Yeah, Derek said he loved it and hated it at the same time. So.
Of course. I want to talk about practice, dude.
Okay.
I call practice, right?
Okay.
I called into talking a little earlier and talked about the same thing. I want to get your thoughts on it. And I don't like talking about like intangible stuff like this, like effort and whatever, because there's not a definitive answer to it. It's all speculation. But We've heard now multiple times that from the players and the coaches that, they're not practicing well. And that shows when you get beat by a team like the Saints, the way they got beat. I don't think the Saints are that much better than the Cowboys or better at all than the Cowboys. But, man, they got destroyed. And I think a large part of that has to do with practice, and that's what the players said. And now you have Mike kind of redoing how practices are going to be going. They're doing more team-based stuff instead of individual drills. So my question is, their lack of ability to practice well, is that more of a head coaching thing, or do you think that's a professionalism issue where players just aren't interested in showing up Monday through Friday, studying film? They think they can show up on Sunday and just be good, when in reality, I mean, they're professionals. The job is to practice well and show up on Sunday. So
yeah,
just want to get your thoughts on that, man.
All right, well,
Thanks.
Good question. And sometimes the answer is both. It really is. I mean, yes, it's on the players to first and foremost. I think it's one of those things that kind of circles back. The coaches build the culture of how they want things to be and get the type of players, type of guys that they get in there. Everyone always made fun of Jason Garrett for the right type of guy. He's the right type of guy. He would say that. But there is a certain type of player, type of person and personality that you want, that you need to be a professional football player. And so I think it's up to the coaches to kind of get that here and instill that on this team. It's up to the players to go up to that standard and to play and practice at that standard. If it's not happening, then it's back on the coaches again to make sure it does happen or the right players are doing it. So that's a very good question, and the answer is both. It's got to be give and take, and it's also got to be you got to have a situation where the players will go to bat for their coach and vice versa. It sounds like he goes to bat for them. I mean, they say it all the time, and he's definitely a player's coach, but it's got to happen in practice as well. So I put it on the coach, I put it on the assistant coaches, I put it on the players. That's what a team is. They've got to figure out a way to mesh this together, and it's not just one. It's both sides, and they've got to figure it out. And if it's not happening, then something has to change. And if the players aren't practicing the right way, then he's got to do his part to change that. Robbie in Cocoa Beach, Florida, what's up?
What's up, Nick? How you been, bud?
Good. How are you?
I've been working way too much, man. I haven't been able to call, but that's all right.
All right.
I've been listening to the show because I love you guys, man. You guys make it great for the fans.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, it's the truth. First, Danny White, just real quick. I never played with him or anything, but I was playing Sandlot football. We used to watch him all the time, and me and my buddy had a play we called White to Renfro, and it was always a little down and out, and then we'd do it about 4 times, and then we'd do a double move. But it was always fun, because they were so good together.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny White got. I don't know about disrespect, but he never got the praise he deserved. Question about this week's game. You think we'll see Delvin Cook? Sure hoping so. Something to
I
put
hope
our
so.
running game in the butt going.
I just more than anything, and not that I think he's going to turn back the clock and be what he was 5 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. I just think why not? I mean, let's just see.
What do we got to lose?
Right. I mean, like nothing else is working. I mean, like the other guys aren't working. I mean, so. Yeah, I mean, he's been here long enough. He should know the place. Let's just see, just to shut us up, shut me up, shut everyone else up.
Yeah, shut me up too.
I just want to hear.
Why did you bring him in if you're not going to use him?
Yeah, I'm for it. I mean, there's nobody in his way that you would be like, well, we can't because he's playing.
Right, because Zeke's better.
Right,
Rico's better. Right,
nobody.
Or Deuce. Yeah, I agree.
Nobody. So I'm with you.
And I think we need to see an old flea flicker or a double, triple reverse or something just to spark that offense to get us going. I know you love them too, man. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right.
I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.
Something. I mean, like, let's dig into the bag of tricks a little bit. And you know what? I have a lot of friends that are coaches, and they've said this forever. If you start off a game and you're playing some team and they run like this triple reverse receiver throwback to the quarterback, fake, all that. That pretty much says that we can't win. That's a lot of times what happens there. When you see that early in the game, we'll start a game, onside kick or whatever, you're pretty much saying, like, this is how we're going to have to win. There's two different thoughts there, and you can take it however you want. The players say it. The coach tells the players in the locker room, I believe in you guys. I believe we're going to take it right at them, blah, blah. But a lot of times what it really says is that we're not good enough straight up. We're going to have to trick this thing up to try to win. And you know what? Maybe that's what the Cowboys need to do. That's where we are here and looking at these games. I know they're 3-3 and all that, but the 3 losses have been very demoralizing, and it looks like it could be a pattern that doesn't go well for this team. And you look at the 3 wins and the players that they've faced and the quarterbacks that they face, that they're not all on the schedule. So they're going to have to get better. Jerry Jones said it on his radio show Tuesday. He said, we're not playing good football. He said it. I mean, like we've got to play better football than that. So everyone knows it and recognizes it. And, yeah, they're 3-3, but this pattern of 8-8 or 8-9 or whatever that would be, it's not probably going to get you in the playoffs. So let's look at the NFC. There's just too many good teams. There's too many good teams in there. The whole NFC North looks pretty good to me, where, like, somebody, I mean, they're going to beat each other up. I get that, but, you know, that's a couple of wild card spots too. And, you know, look at some of the other divisions. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. Even in the NFC East, it's going to be a challenge to figure that out. The Cowboys have to get better. This is not the path to make it to the playoffs. It's going to have to be much better than this. All right. Let's go to Rookie Mike in South Haven, Mississippi.
Hey, Nick. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, we're going to start it this week. Cowboys 24, 49ers 20.
All right.
So we're going to turn it around this week. I had a question about all the injuries going on in the NFL. I've been watching the Cowboys since the early 90s, and I don't remember this many injuries back then. Do you think it's the way they train now, how they're with the CA rules or whatever? Do you think it's got something to do with that? Not that many padded practices?
I think there could be a lot of reasons for that. You're probably onto something there about the way they practice, and just it's hard to play football without playing football. I mean, it's hard to get ready to play, and yeah, you see these injuries happen earlier. Also, these players are just bigger and stronger and faster, and they're just moving, and the collisions are so violent. You could make that argument as well. But you're right. This year seems like the injuries are a lot higher. And if you play fantasy football, which most people do, you feel it there. You see it. You see guys that you're drafting and you're taking and they don't even play. Christian McCaffrey, that happens.
Yeah,
but
I got him too.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But like I do feel like injuries are up, and I'd just be speculating if I said here's why. I don't know that, but yeah, it does feel like the significant players are out. Everyone's dealing with it. Cowboys are dealing with it. I mean, everyone is dealing with it.
Okay. Yeah, I just say I'm with you on that. I'm not going to feel sorry for the 49ers with all the injuries we got.
No.
So let's get this W and turn it around.
Yeah. All right. I like it. Good stuff. Right. Thank you, Rookie Mike there in Mississippi. We're going to take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be back to answer more of your phone calls. Be right back.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Witness one of the biggest boxing events in modern history on Friday, November 15th at AT&T Stadium. Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson. Tickets available, limited tickets available, SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, welcome back here to the show on Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman. We are answering more phone calls here as we get ready for the Cowboys 49ers this week. A lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. We've talked about it. Does it matter from the Cowboys standpoint? Who are they going to face? Some key players from the 49ers likely out. We know Brandon Ayuk out. Christian McCaffrey seems like he will be out. He hasn't played this year. Deebo Samuel up in the air. There's talk there. Trent Williams, their left tackle, he was kicked out of the last game, possibly facing a suspension. We'll see about that. That's unlikely to me. I've been seeing reports on that this week, but again, not buying that one. That would be a huge loss to them because not only is he a great left tackle, but I think he's kind of the tone setter for them for what they do. I'll never forget the playoff game 2 years ago when Maher was out there warming up. He had just had that bad game in Tampa Bay where he missed all those extra points, and they come out. He's out there warming up. It's just the kickers, okay? There's usually just 6 guys on the field: kicker, holder, snapper for both teams. That's pretty much the how many guys are on the field at that point in the game, about an hour and a half before the game. Well, Trent Williams is out there with Deebo Samuel too, out there and trying to talk to the holder, the kicker, getting in the way of the snapping, and I never forget that. I just wish they would have just snapped the ball, just fire it back there, and that would have been a huge fight. But they tried to get in their head and all that. That's Trent Williams, doing what he does. It's no mistake of he's the tone setter, and that's what happened. That's why he got kicked out of the game. But he's a great tackle, great player, and he kind of leads their offense. So. Would be a shame if he doesn't play, but he will. All right, Chuck D in Bridge City, Texas is next on the line. Chuck, what's up?
Hey, Nick.
How are you?
Great.
What's up, man?
49ers week, you got to get pumped. One of my favorite games is the 92 championship. I used to have the VHS of it, and I'd watch that all the time.
Love it.
And anyways, I wanted to bring this up. I really didn't watch the 49ers Kansas City because I don't like either team, but I did watch the highlights, and I saw that Mahomes kept keeping plays alive with scrambling, and they even called it he's a drive extender.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like since his injury, he doesn't really do that anymore. I feel like there's times where he could pick up the first down, but instead he'll throw it and incomplete or I just wish he would bring that back, and I don't know what's holding him from bringing that back, but I'd love to see that come back, and that's all I got. Nick, see what you think about that.
I agree, Chuck. We have a mailbag question on our website on Tuesday morning, and it was same thing. It was about, are they missing something there? And they are, in my opinion. It's the element, and it's like Mahomes. Okay, he doesn't go out there to run the ball, but he'll take it if it's there. He can do it, and he extends it. And sometimes, if you're not going to push him out of bounds, he'll keep it going down the sidelines. And I think that's just an element that every offense needs. If you're going to do an RPO, or also those zone reads, you've got to keep it sometimes, or your defensive end will never honor that, and they'll just pinch down and provide another defensive run stopper there, and then that only hurts your running game even more. You've got to show the ability to run it at times, and yes, I think he needs to do that. I found a stat, and when Dak runs the ball 25 yards in a game, and that's not a lot. That's just 25 yards. It's happened 20 times in his career. And they're 15-5 when that happens. And in the 27 games where he has had a rushing touchdown, they're 22-5. So, we're not talking about game-changing plays, but just a few runs here and there, especially scoring, just a threat down there, it leads to wins. And so that's just an element I think needs to get back for sure. And if it's holding him back mentally and all that. It's been 4 years. I mean, he's run some. It's not like he doesn't ever run, but it's a part of the game that I think really needs to happen. We saw that Chargers game, was it last year, where he faked everyone out and ran it in for a touchdown, kept it and ran it. He can do it. He needs to do it a little more. I think it opens up the offense a lot there. All right, Bob in Rio Grande Valley is next.
Hey, Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Listen to you. Great program as usual. Very informative.
Thank you so much.
Enjoying it very much. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.
I'm of the opinion that McCarthy is just too damn predictable in his play calling. And I'm also I am in agreement with you in the fact that we need to get Dalvin Cook on the field. I mean, what the heck have we got him for?
Right.
And we need to play him.
Yeah.
Did you notice? Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, did you notice what happened in the first half? The Ravens got away from the running game. All of a sudden, you didn't see King Henry, and guess what happened? They only scored 10 points.
Yeah.
In the second half, they activated that dude, and guess what? It was like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened up plays for Lamar as well. I can't understand why there was a similarity in the play calling between those guys and the Cowboys. They were very predictable in running off left tackle, and it seemed like that there was a committee meeting waiting for them on occasions and to shut them down. But pretty much, when they got that running game going, they rolled up the points, and that made a difference in the game. What do you think?
Well, I mean, we're not comparing what the Ravens are doing to what the Cowboys are doing, right? I mean, they have different personnel. I mean, they don't have a Derrick Henry, and that's been well documented. Jerry even pointed that out in his radio interview. And they don't have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson extends plays. We just talked about Dak running 25 yards in a game. I mean, Lamar Jackson probably had a 25-yard run last night, and he runs that way. So he's one of the most electrifying runners in the history of the game for the quarterback position. And so it's hard to say, look what they're doing, Cowboys do that. I mean, they don't have that. They don't have a running back that pushes the pile, leans that way. I mean, Derrick Henry's he's just a freak. I mean, you can't be that big and strong and fast. That's what makes him so unique in what he does. And let's don't get down to that. I think what you're saying is that lean on the run. That's fine if you can do it. I mean, it always bothers me when people say, well, they got away from the run. Did they get away from the run, or did they just not run it well? I mean, first down, run, okay? So now it's 2nd and 9 because you got 1 yard. Second down, run, 2 yards. So it's 3rd and 7. You throw it incomplete. Okay. So you try the next drive and you do that, and now that's not working. So now let's try to pass and move the ball. On one side, you say, well, you're so predictable. You're running on first down. But then if you throw it, you're like, well, you're not. You're getting away from the run. The goal is to move the football. It doesn't matter. No, getting away from the run. Just move the ball with the playmakers that you have. And I don't think they have the playmakers on the running game and the offensive line combination to move the ball. That's why put someone else in. And you're not going to change your offensive line, really. I think they've got their best guys there. I don't know if they have their best running back out there yet, but I'm for it. This is like we said. If Dalvin Cook's got anything left in the tank, it's time to see it. I think. Randy in Texarkana is next.
Man, they need to bring a dog out there to practice and let the dogs chase the running backs. That'll teach them how to run.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I just came off the back end of what you were just talking about. So what I was calling in for was, I don't know how many listeners you have coming out of California. I know there's a few of them that call in, but I hope we have a lot that's listening to the show. I want them to take over that stadium out there like the Lions fans did at our stadium last week or the week before last. Our fans, I'm needing to coach these jokers up a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but there's, when we're on offense, we're supposed to be quiet. And when we're on defense, we're supposed to be loud. For whatever reason, this goes back to Texas Stadium. For whatever reason, our fans do it opposite. We get loud when our offense is on the field. And I don't understand it. Like, what is going on with these people? Why are they not getting this? But, yeah, I need our stadium fans to really pull it together, get their act together, because believe it or not, that helps those players. If they've got the field, the stands on their side, it helps. It pumps them up.
Well, they're 3-0 on the road and 0-3 at home. So
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Home fans are just, I don't know what's going on with them, but they've always been like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I sit next
Have you noticed that? I can't be the only one that's noticed it.
No, you're not the only one. I sit next to Derek Eagleton. It drives him crazy when that happens. I just don't think it's that big a deal, and I don't think it matters that much. I really don't. I don't think it matters. Does it affect the defense when you're pumping up your crowd on 3rd and 7? Does it affect your defense? They have to communicate as well. So I don't know. I don't think it matters that much. And again, I don't think there was a lot. There wasn't like an abnormally large number of Lions fans at the game. There wasn't. Before the game, you look around, you can tell, you can see in our section, you can kind of see the Lions fans. There wasn't like a ton. It was a good amount. It was probably 20%, about 80-20. But when it's 47-9 and you hear 20,000 people and you don't hear anything else, yeah, that's loud. That sounds loud. So, honestly, I'm not putting this on the fans. I know it's a fan show. I'm not going to put this on the fans.
No,
the fans are fine.
No, I know we're not putting it on them, but
give them something. Give them something to be loud about and cheer about, and then that's fine. We haven't heard a lot of that going on. So
yeah,
you were there, Randy. You were there. I bet you at the game. You saw a lot. Did you think there was a ton of Lions fans?
I did. I was about to disagree with you. Well, from where I was sitting, dude, I saw nothing but Lions blue everywhere.
And honestly,
it was crazy.
And I saw you before the game, and I know where you were sitting, and that's where the majority of the opposing fans sit. In that area right there. So you were in the section where you're going to see a lot. You look around the stadium, though, that's not typically the case. They weren't all over the place. But, yeah, where you were, I'm sure it sounded that way. And then, of course, they only had 47 points to cheer about. So, yeah, you heard it a lot.
Hey, but I enjoyed myself, though. We went into it with an open mind, and we were there to enjoy the experience. So that's I loved my day, and I appreciate meeting y'all, and I thought that was really cool. My son did, too, and we're going to keep this thing going, man.
All right.
Got to stay a fan and keep it rolling. Yep, y'all have a good day.
All right, Randy. All right, let's go to Lester in Minnesota. Lester, what's up, man?
Hey, Nick, how you doing, man? What? I called in yesterday, and I'm the one that always said we need a good offensive and defensive line. And I think one of you guys yesterday said something about the 2017 team didn't have really a good defensive line. Well, that was a different coaching staff, a different philosophy. We didn't really need a good defensive line there because I believe it was Garrett, whoever was the coach there, he used the offense as a weapon. He ran the ball and ran the clock out.
Right.
So therefore, sure, this regime don't do that. So you need this regime, in my opinion, they use the offense to score, which you're supposed to use the offense to score, but that's not what I mean. They don't use it as a weapon. So, but anyway, I think that we could beat San Francisco this week. I think the score would be 21-16 if our defense shows up. I don't know who's injured and who's going to start. If we don't have Parsons and the rest of the guys, then I don't know. It's going to be a long day, man.
Well, okay. All right. Well, thanks for the call. I don't know. Is it going to be a long day, or is it going to be Cowboys win? I don't know. I don't know if it could be both. It could be both. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be a close game. I think. I think the Cowboys will play well coming off the bye. Mike McCarthy's done a good job in his career. He here 3-1 coming off the bye, and done a good job. When he was with the Packers as well. So you take the things that aren't working, and there's a lot of them. There's a big list. and you've got to figure out how to change it, how to fix it, how to make some tweaks, how to not be so predictable. I mean, we hear that a lot. We hear that from other teams. Defensive backs love to say that. Troy Aikman had a lot of things to say about the way that they're running routes and things like that. This is a time where you can fix some of it. You don't have a month. It's not another training camp. It's a couple of extra days, and they gave most of the guys the time off. But some of those bumps and bruises should be healed. You should be rejuvenated. I know Mike McCarthy looked to be rejuvenated when he had his press conference. So it should be a situation where it should be a situation where the Cowboys are fresh and ready to go, and Lord knows they need to turn this thing around, and you got the 49ers staring them in the face. What perfect time to do that. Let's take another break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be back to answer a few more calls.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Stay connected with the Dallas Cowboys on your Connected TV. Catch up on all Cowboys content such as player interviews, weekly TV shows, podcasts, docuseries like Deep Blue, and much more. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Back here on Cowboys Storyline, I am Nick Eatman, and we got a few more minutes to go. We're going to go to San Antonio for our next call. Travis in San Antonio is next. Travis?
Hey, happy Tuesday to you, Chris and Nick. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up?
Just wanted to call. I've got bigger picture stuff, but I'm going to keep it focused on this game coming up. Just one particular thing. I know Mike McCarthy had sent out that kind of that 10-question deal to the guys during the bye week for them to kind of assess and look at themselves and whatnot. And one of the guys I am looking at, right or wrong or fair or unfair as far as criticism goes, I am looking specifically this week. I'm going to be watching Diggs. Because I mentioned it to a couple other people, is like, I don't know who – we got to see who on this defense is holding guys accountable, and they're going to test that side because he's had a couple of last game he had like 3 or 4 I counted like olays where he was trying to come up in the run game and just kind of, I just missed and whatever. And if they're going to turn this thing around, I think that's a big part of it, right? It's that self-accountability, and he's got to be able to force that back inside and let his linebackers make those plays. So that's one thing. And then specifically on this game, Nick, I think everyone's talking about the wins, right, as far as the win-loss record. I'm looking at it as far as, like, we talked about the belief before, right, and I think this team needs the belief. I think this is a bigger game for their mentality. And I don't care that the Niners, because I know everyone's going to say if we beat them, this guy was out, that guy was out. But it's beating their boogeyman, right? Like I think if they'll get a mental boost, in my opinion, if they can just figure out. I don't care if it's ugly even. If they figure out a way to beat this team, they can sort of put that to bed, right? Yeah. Kind of move forward and use it for a little bit of belief going forward. And then the last thing I'm hoping to see, I think we've been having the wrong approach in Cowboys Nation with like saying Dak has to be perfect every game, and where everyone's asking him every week, like, hey, just go be Superman, go play mistake free, whatever. If we want to have any chance going forward. The way I look at this, Nick, logically, is there's 2 issues, right, we keep talking about. There's running the football and stopping the run. Which one do I think is more likely for us to fix? Probably running the football. So I'm hoping this week we see more 13 personnel. We see more big guy, maybe extra offensive linemen. I want to, in boot camp, Nick, there were 2 things. You either going to get strong or smart. And I hope we just stick to the running game, give them 30 carries, Mike McCarthy, be patient with it. And it may not even hit this game, Nick, but it may hit the next game. It may hit the next game. And I think if we give Dak that running game, it's the only way to support him that we're actually going to be able to make a run. So I just want to see what you thought on that.
All right. I mean, I like what you're saying. It's just it's. I do think it's easier said than done when you just stick with it. I mean, think about what you're asking. Think about you sitting there, you're watching the game, you got your jersey on, you're excited. Let's go, and all of a sudden it's a 1 yard run, it's a minus 1 yard run, and then on 3rd and 11 it's a draw for 6, and you punt. Stick with the running game. Okay, well, they went down and scored a touchdown. So now you're down 7-0. Now you got the ball, and you throw a quick pass here, and then you tried to run, then you ran again. Now you're punting. You're sticking with the running game. You're sticking with the game. Now you're down 10-0, and it's that kind of stuff, and it's not working as much. So teams only stick with something when it's working, and so it's all about fix the running game. Fix the running game. Nothing pisses me off more than watching, like, if my college team, like, runs the ball for 12, 17, 8, 21, 14, and now they're down in the red zone, and they pass, sack, and they have to kick a field goal. Like that's the part that's frustrating. But when you're not running it well, and then you say stick with it, I mean, nobody does that. You know what I mean? And so you're not wrong. It's just it's got to be fixed. Okay, fix the running game, fix it, put more emphasis on it. Like you said, I like what you're saying. Jumbo packages, things like that. Help the running game, and then that will open up more. But you can't just say block better, run harder. I mean, it's got to get fixed, and this is the week to do that. All right, let's keep going here. We got Mark in Northern California. Mark, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Nick? First-time caller.
All right, good to hear from you. Are you going to the game?
Yeah, so no, man, no. Unfortunately, my I know it's off topic, but my daughter passed recently on May 1st of this year. So
I'm so sorry, man. I can't imagine.
It's been a whirlwind, man. So I'm a lifelong Cowboy fan, but I've probably only watched 3 games this year because of everything going on. So anyhow, but yeah, no, I got a lot of buddies. A couple of them are going, but anyhow, no, I really want to get this win, man. It's been a while, a couple of years, 2-3 years since we beat San Francisco. So
a little longer.
Hopefully a little longer than that, probably. Yeah. But no, hopefully we get this, and I think if we get an early lead on these guys, you know what I mean? Get up at least even if we're just up a touchdown or something. You know what I mean? To kind of give the get up on them, and maybe the outcome will be different. You know what I mean? Instead of playing from 30 points down,
sure.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard that you got to throw it. Pretty much at that point, you do got to throw the running game out the window, and you're playing from behind. But anyhow, that's about it, man. Thanks for taking my call. And then one other thing, what's the deal on Carson, Kalen Carson and Bland? Any update on those guys?
Okay, yeah. All right, Mark. Thanks for the call. Stay strong. I mean, that's all I can say to that. Wow, I can't even imagine that. But I appreciate you calling in the show and hanging in there with the Cowboys, and we'll see if they can turn this thing around. They just to answer your question, they beat the 49ers in 2020 that year, McCarthy's first year, COVID year. They did beat them at the end of the season. The 49ers, I forgot, Mullins maybe was their quarterback that day. So, but yeah, it hasn't been like forever ago. It wasn't like Steve Young wasn't playing. It wasn't like back then, but they've, it's been 4 years. But what we remember is those 3 losses, of course, the last few years, 2 of them in the playoffs. To answer your question about injuries, Kalen Carson, he's been out a little bit with his shoulder injury. I think he'd be ready for this game. I think he should be back. Ready. Game time decision on Deron Bland. That's what Jerry Jones said Tuesday. Same with Micah Parsons. So we'll see if those 2 guys how they practice this week, and we'll probably have a better indication before that happens. I would think Bland has a better shot to play than Parsons, but again, it's early in the week. Still got a few more days to practice and rehab and get ready, and we'll see if they can get them out there. All right, let's go to Gavin in Oklahoma City. Gavin, what's up?
Nick.
How are you?
I'm good. Yesterday, I brought you 2 different things that I thought we could change on both sides of the ball coming out of the bye week, and I had the same thing for you today, but just 2 different things.
All right.
I wanted to talk about utilization, specifically Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. I wanted to know your thoughts about coming out of the bye week, maybe getting CeeDee Lamb in the slot more instead of just keeping him outside. And that could really go for all the receivers. I just feel like some of our receivers haven't been interchanging as far as going into the slot, going outside. And we have guys that can do both, and it just feels like we did some of those things last year, and we're not taking advantage of that so far this year for whatever reason. And then when and if Micah Parsons comes back, I wanted to know your thoughts on maybe utilizing him more in a way such as T.J. Watt, because I feel like in Zimmer's defense so far we're using him more as a Bosa brother or a Myles Garrett to say, but he doesn't really have the size of those players. If we could, like you said yesterday, run more of a 3-4 or throw in some 3-4 looks and get him on the outside, running around after running back as well as, getting after the passer on the outside more unpredictably. Maybe like a Mike Tomlin type of defense, which they also run 4-3 a lot. So I'm not saying you can't run 4-3. Maybe just mix some of that in. But anyway, that's all I got for you, and thanks for taking my call.
I appreciate the call, Gavin. It's a bye week. It's time. You can make some tweaks. That's gonna be a challenge to see how much you can tweak and how many things you can do and implement throughout the week. I remember they had 11 years ago, Rob Ryan was their defensive coordinator that year, 2013 maybe, 2012. I can't remember one of those 2 years. But, and every week it was a different thing. It was all kinds of, this week they had a lot of different stuff happen. And sometimes you would really hit, and it would just surprise the offense, and it would work. A lot of times, though, that year, there was 13 guys on the field, 12 guys on the field here, confusion here, a lot of busts. So when you make a lot of changes like that, it sounds great, but move Micah here and here, but you're moving a lot of other guys around different spots too. And when you do that, it proposes a challenge for your defense. And so I think that's what training camp, OTAs, those things, those installations are for. I think that's limited. I don't know how many things you can change in the middle of the season, but as far as big picture goes, if they're committed to Micah Parsons, which I really believe that they will be, I think Jerry Jones will be committed to re-signing him, they've got to figure out a way to build a defense around him. If he's a 3-4 outside linebacker, fine. Get the pieces to do that. He's a special, dynamic player, and if you're going to pay him, then you make sure and put him in the spot where he's going to be best effective. All right. That's going to be our last call for the day. I appreciate you guys. Great show, as always, getting us ready. A lot of talk about the 49ers, a lot of talk about the history. Danny White talked this week. That's great. Love talking about that. Trivia, all that good stuff. Focus is this week trying to get this Cowboy team to turn things around. We will be back tomorrow. It'll be 10 a.m. and 888-855-2297, the number to call. Make sure and get those phone lines ready for us tomorrow. We'll get it going. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?